Hey you guys, it's Jenny, and today is our Kundalini class, and everything is totally different behind me because my internet is not working at home, so I'm at my mama's house today, and we are recording live from her house. And this is our first day of changing the time. We're doing 4 o'clock now instead of 10 o'clock, so that we can accommodate more people's needs and have more people be present with us. So we're going to be doing it's basically a Kundalini exercise. It's detoxifying radiance. Now, a lot of the time we think about our radiance within like our skin and all of those kinds of things, but we're actually talking about too like the radiance of our being. And I've been reading a couple books recently. Well, it's a series of books. It's called The Life and Teaching of the Masters of the Far East, and you guys should definitely check it out if you're so interested in doing so. And the radiance of our being comes from the truth of our being, which is our soul space. And our soul space is literally a impression. It's a manifestation of God. God literally gave us life, not just breathed life into us, but we are literally an impression of that God energy expressing itself through our humanity. And that's amazing because it means that within that space, all things are possible. When we honor ourselves from that truth, from that knowledge of our being, everything is literally possible. And the thing that we most often get caught up in our humanity, I think, is that we choose to see ourselves from those mortal eyes, from those earthly eyes. We judge ourselves. We're always looking for everything that we're not instead of everything that we are. We're so hyper-focused on the negative that we can't possibly see the positive, and not just the positive, but the actual truth of our being. The truth of our being is that we are God energy manifest in this human form. And I'm going to read you guys a little bit from this book because we're going to do a little exercise too today, kind of like we did last week. Now, it says, it is through the power of our own mind or thought action that we are able to bring forth or realize Christ consciousness. Through the power or process of thought, we can transmute and evolve our bodies or our outer conditions and surroundings through recognition of this Christ consciousness within ourselves, so that we will never experience death nor any change called death. This is done wholly through man's power to visualize, idealize, conceive, and bring forth that which he gazes upon. This is done by first knowing or perceiving or having faith that the Christ is within ourselves, seeing the true meaning of Jesus' teaching, holding our body one with God, made in the image and likeness of God, and merging that body into the perfect body, just as God sees us. We have idealized, conceived, and brought forth into manifestation the perfect God body. We are born again, truly of and in the spirit kingdom of God. That God energy can never be. We've talked about this before. If you've been in any of my other yoga classes where I've spoken about this, that God energy can never be anything other than perfection. Always, always in its perfect state of being, always in its perfect body. That means no sickness, no illness, no anything can live in that space. Illness occurs within our being when we remove ourselves from the truth of what we are. When we choose to identify ourselves not by our truth, but with what we see with our mortal eyes, what we experience in our mortal experience. We create judgments, then we have these false ideals of perfection that we feel like we need to meet. Perfection is not what we think it means. It's not doing everything right. Perfection is being in our truest state of being, which is that Christ consciousness, that God energy. When we claim that as our truth, and not just claim it as our truth, but truly believe it to be so, that is when we align ourselves to that highest vibrational being that we can possibly be, ever. You can't be a higher vibrational being than that because you're pure God energy at that point, right? And then we open ourselves up to all of the possibility, all of the potential, all of the miraculous, amazing aspects that Earth, universe has to offer us within this time and space. We're not here to suffer. We're not here to trudge through. We're here to realize the truth of our being and live from that space. And when we choose to honor that truth, we become the way showers. We become the way showers for the people around us. We help to break the simulation that they've locked themselves in with their mortal vision, believing that things are what they see in their reality and nothing more. You have to be able to show other people what can be done from that place of spirit. By showing them, by embodying the truth yourself, not by telling them, not by doing all these other things. Not all of us are going to be teachers and talk about stuff and all of that. That doesn't matter. The most important way we teach the people around us is just to embody it, just to show them that it's possible. And then we offer that hope and inspiration that's necessary to step into that same energetic space with them, right? So he basically talks about how, like, we can take every false belief, every old condition, every sin, all of our past life. It doesn't matter what it's been, how good or seemingly bad. It doesn't matter what mountain of false belief or doubt or unbelief or fear we or anyone else have erected about us or in our paths. And we can say to them all, I now return you to the great ocean of universal mind substance. They're calling universal mind substance is basically like the void, that place where all creation is birthed from. Everything that ever came from existence came from that God energy, that open space where anything is possible, right? From which all things come forth and where all is perfection, and from which you sprang, there to be again resolved into the elements from which you were created. I now return you or bring you back from that pure substance as perfect and pure as God sees you, and hold you always in that absolute perfection. We can say to ourselves, I now realize in the old order of things that I brought you forth imperfectly, and you manifest imperfectly. Realizing the truth, I now bring you forth as perfect as God sees you. You are reborn perfect, and it is so. We must realize that the inner alchemist, God within, has taken hold of this and has transmuted, refined, and perfected that which seemed imperfect, that which we brought forth and are now returning. We should realize that it is refined, perfected, and transmuted, just as our own bodies are refined, perfected, and returned to us as God's body, joyously perfect, beautifully free. Finally, we should realize that this is the perfect Christ consciousness in all and for all. This is hid with Christ and God. This is what Jesus came to do, right? Jesus was a way shower. He came here to show us all of the things that we were capable of doing, all of the ways that we could live in harmony with God and manifest purely and fully from that space where we get out of our own way, where we stop trying to force things to happen, and we allow God to manifest through us. That's like when you read in the Bible, it says, thy will be done. Thy will be done, not mine. I'm going to get out of my own way, and I'm going to allow God to manifest through this vessel, this impression of God that has manifested here in this human experience. I'm going to live through that. I'm going to allow that energy to be completely channeled through me because that's what I am. That's my truth. I'm not this lowly human here to grovel and just to barely make it and just to die and do it all over again. It's not what I'm here to do. So when we're done with our practice today, we're going to lay in our Shavasana posture. And I want us to think about that. Returning those aspects of our being that are not serving us, that are challenging us, and all of the things that it could be illness, it could be anything, that whatever those old programs are and perceptions of ourselves that get in the way of us being the embodiment of our truest soul space energy, that is what we want to bring back to source, back to God, and say that stuff doesn't serve me. This isn't allowing me to be the embodiment and accept the truth of who and what I am. And I see how in the older order of things, I brought forth this physical embodiment, this aspect of God imperfectly. Through my mortal eyes, I brought it forth imperfectly. It has been manifesting. I have been manifesting it imperfectly because I haven't been able to get out of my own way and allow that energy to completely and fully radiate through me. And that's what we want to do today. That's radiance. That radiance comes from knowing the God within your own being. And that's what I love about Kundalini. That's what I love about yoga in general. It's always the opportunity to come back to yourself because everything exists within yourself. That is where God is inside of you. And you have to be able to come back into that space and to commune with that energy and to know that aspect of your being and allow that to be the forefront of who and what you are all the time so that you can radiate truly and fully from that energy. And we're all different. We're all still completely different aspects of that God energy. We're all totally unique expressions of that God energy. So we're still who and what we are. We're still our unique expression of being, but it is also still the God energy. And we are all the sons and daughters of God. We all are. We all have that ability, that Christ consciousness within our own being to be able to do all of the things, that we need to do to live in this space in a way that is in alignment with the truth of our being. So we're going to go ahead and start tuning in today. Grounding into your easy seated posture. And this is where we already starting to tune into that aspect of our being. Tune into that God aspect of our being. That perfect embodiment. We came into this time and space in a perfect way. And we're drawing that aspect of our being forward. We're claiming that truth. Dropping the shoulders back and down, creating that length in the spine. Tuck the chin back ever so slightly so that the head is floating over the heart. The heart is floating over the belly. The belly is floating over the sits bones. And sinking into our breath, taking the bridge from the physical body back to the spirit. Making sure you're drawing that breath all the way down into the belly. And opening yourself up to that connection to divine, God, source, great spirit energy. Accepting your truth as that I am that I am. And it's inside of me. We're going to use the mantra Om Namo Gurudev Namo 3 times to tune into that beautiful soul space. Inhale deeply. Exhale completely. Inhale to begin. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Hands are at heart center. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Inhale deeply, suspend your breath, apply your root lock if it's in your practice, drawing up through the pelvic floor. If you're not pregnant, having no issues with blood pressure, glaucoma, anything of that nature on a new moon cycle. Exhale, release the hands. I totally forgot to rub our palms together, but that's okay. Stuff happens. Okay, so as we're going through our practice today, I want you to really be aware to slow your breathing down and feel your energy flowing deeply into your abdomen and your ribs, expanding them on each inhale. And just take note of the breath while you're in these postures. And you're going to use your breath, with the posture as we usually do. So we're going to come down onto our back for our first exercise. And if you need to support that lower spine, which is often a smart thing to do, go ahead and take those hands and place them. My mic fell out. Place them underneath the glutes, underneath your hips. And then we're going to do some leg lifts. So with those legs together, we're going to inhale, draw the legs up. Exhale, take them back down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. If you cannot do both legs together, you can inhale one leg and then the other. So just do what you need to do here to facilitate the movement for the exercise. We are going to be here for 3 minutes. Focusing on the breath, feeling the breath in the body, in the abdomen. We're inhaling through the mouth and exhaling through the nose. Working to keep the knees straight if you can. You can even put a folded blanket underneath your hips if that feels better to you. And then try to allow that motion to be as smooth as possible. And the breath is leading the movement. Because that breath is going to be what alters the pituitary. Inhaling through the mouth and exhaling through the nose. That navel point energy, that perception of who and what we are. Are you more likely to view yourself with those mortal eyes, with eyes of expectation, with eyes of who and what you should be, how you look? Or do you look at yourself through those eyes of God that already see you in your perfection, that already sees your beauty, that recognizes itself in you? Thirty more seconds. Inhale, keep those legs up in the air. Apply your root lock if it's within your practice. Suspend your breath at the top of your inhalation. Exhale, super, super slow with grace and ease. Releasing those legs all the way down into the earth. Take those hands out from underneath your hips. Tap your belly out a little bit. Allow the hands to rest at the side for a moment in this corpse pose posture, and just take a moment to breathe into your body and sink into your own energy. Take note of how it feels. Drawing the knees into the chest. Take the hands to the front of the shin bones, rocking and rolling on the spine a few times. And then draw yourself upright into a seated posture. We're going to come up on our knees now. Into that rock pose posture. If that feels comfortable and safe, releasing those glutes down onto those heels. We're going to take our hands, gently resting them over the shoulders, fingers towards the front, thumbs towards the back. We're going to inhale, come up, pressing the belly forward or the hips forward. Elbows come back so that the spine is super straight. Crown of the head is parallel to the sky. We're going to exhale through the nose as we come down. Inhale through the mouth, coming up. Exhale through the nose, coming down. Close your eyes. You're going to be here for 3.5 minutes. Inhaling up, exhaling down. You can move vigorously or you can take it a little bit slower. Just listening to your body, and if you can increase the pace as you warm up, then please do so. You're already 1.5 minutes in. You only have 2 minutes left to go. Eyes are closed. The attention is at the third eye space. One more minute. Inhale up. Keep those hands on those shoulders. Suspend your breath and apply a root lock. Exhale, super, super slow, releasing the glutes back down onto the heels. We're gonna swing our legs around in front of us, coming back into our easy seated posture. And we're gonna take this is called the divine grind. So this isn't quite like our Sufi grind. We're more gonna be using the rib cage to slide to one side, either the left or the right. Come forward, opposite side, back. And as you're coming forward, your head's naturally, your chin's gonna lift a little bit so that it's more parallel to the ground. And as you come back, the chin's gonna draw itself towards the chest. We're inhaling from the back to the front, exhaling from the front to the back. Keeping those sits bones grounded into the earth. We're going to be here for 3.5 minutes. And halfway through that 3.5 minutes, we're going to take it to the opposite direction. And I'll let you know when that is. So continuing on, inhaling from the back to the front, exhaling from the front to the back. Eyes are closed. Focusing that internal awareness inward and upward towards the brow point center. Take it in the opposite direction. Sure. Halfway through. Matching the breath with the movement, that divine grind. This motion aids in digestion, helps remove toxins from the kidneys, gallbladder, liver, and spleen, and also balances the adrenal glands. Fifteen more seconds. Next time you find yourself towards the front of the rotation, inhale, come back to center, suspend your breath and apply your root lock. Squeeze that energy up from the base of the tailbone, the base of that root chakra, up towards the crown. Exhale. Release your lock. Keep your eyes closed for a moment. Just feeling into the energy of your own body before we come into our next exercise. Gently opening up those eyes whenever you're ready. Our next posture is an active yoga mudra, and we're going to be utilizing the Venus lock mudra, which channels sexual energy and helps balance the glands. Where the thumb connects into the palm is a raised mound called the Mound of Venus. The goddess Venus is the representative of beauty, grace, sensuality, and sexuality. The thumb represents the ego, or the falsely empowered identity of self as separate from the soul. So we're going to sit up tall in our easy pose. Interlock your hands behind you in Venus lock. And then resting one thumb on the mound of Venus, of the opposite hand. Traditionally, women do left over right or whatever, but it's just do whatever feels comfortable here. And you're going to just see how that thumb is going to gently rest over the mound, just like that. And it says, it's a very balancing mudra. It's often used in Kundalini Yoga exercises. You can also do it anytime during your day to generate vitality and a calm, knowing focus. Inhale through the mouth. We're going to lower our forehead towards the floor in front of us while lifting the folded hands as high as possible behind you. Rise back up straight and tall as you exhale through the nose. So we're going to inhale through the mouth, drop the forehead towards the earth, lifting those hands as high as you can. Exhale through the nose as you rise up, super straight in the spine. Inhale down. Exhale up. Inhale down. Exhale up. And just go as far down as you can comfortably. Continuing on at your own pace. Continuing the movement and the breath. You're going to be here for 3 minutes. The unusual breathing technique of inhaling on the forward bend will give a beneficial massage to the intestines and abdominal organs. If you want to modify, you can actually sit on your heels in that rock pose, and that may be more helpful for you to draw the forehead towards the earth. So if you need to draw yourself into that modified posture, then go ahead and do so. Do whatever it is that feels most comfortable and safe for your body. Inhaling down through the mouth, exhaling up through the nose. You're already 2 minutes in. Got less than a minute to go. Inhale up to center. Apply your root lock. Suspend the breath at the top. Exhale. Release the hands, release the lock. If you need to rotate those shoulders a little bit and release any of that tension out of your body, you can go ahead and do what you need to do. Then we're going to swing our legs around in front of us so that we can come into a corpse pose. For this last exercise, we're doing a relaxation with a navel focus before we move on to our final Shavasana. So you're going to lengthen through your legs. Use your core strength to release your spine vertebra by vertebra, super slow with grace and ease all the way down into the earth. Closing your eyes. You can gently rest your palms of your hands on your belly, one hand over the other, or you can allow the palms of the hands to rest at the side of the body. Just listen to whatever feels comfortable to you. And you're going to bring your focus to your navel point. Mentally directing your prana to the energy center there. The navel point is an essential part of your awakening. It is the power of your consciousness. As you focus, relax, slow down your breath. If your palms are at the side of the body, allow them to be face up. Relax every fiber of your body. And visualize your body melting into the earth's gravity. Feel the light of the universe washing through your aura. Scan your entire body from your feet to your head and consciously relax every muscle. You're going to be here for 5 minutes, and you've already been laying here for 1.5 minutes. Once you're done relaxing every part of your body, be sure to draw your attention back to mentally directing your prana to your navel point center. Less than 1 more minute. Inhale deeply. Lock, sealing the energy of that entire practice into your being. Allowing that inner alchemist to rise up, to transmute, to shift, to move, to release, to heal, to open up any new space that's necessary to draw you towards that divine expression of your own being. Exhale and release that lock. And finding your final Shavasana now. So whatever that version of that final Shavasana posture feels most comfortable to you, allowing those feet to fall to the side. If you would like to remove the palms of the hands from the belly and release them into the earth next to your body, then feel free to do so. Make sure you've drawn those shoulders down away from the ears, and again, begin to relax so that we can enter into a gentle exercise. How is it that man is content to crawl? And not only content to crawl, but is obliged to do so. If man was given dominion over all things, he was certainly given power to fly above the birds. If this is his dominion, why has he not asserted this dominion long ago? The fault must certainly be in the man's own mind. This must have all come about by man's own mortal concept of himself. He has only been able, in his own mind, to see himself crawling. Thus he has only been able to crawl. He is limited or unlimited, bound or free, just as he thinks. No one is created in any way different from you. They do not have one atom more power than you were created with. Some have, by the right use of their own thought forces, developed their God-given power. These things are accomplished in accord with the definite law, and every human being can use the law if he will. So now together, repeating after me within your own mind, within your own heart. I now return you to the great ocean of universal mind substance, from which all things come forth, and where all is perfection. And from which you sprang, there to be again, resolved into the elements from which you were created. I now return you or bring you back from that pure substance as perfect and pure as God sees you, and hold you always in that absolute perfection. And now say to yourself, I now realize in the old order of things that I brought you forth imperfectly, and you manifest imperfectly. Realizing the truth, I now bring you forth, perfect as God sees you. You are reborn perfect, and it is so. Now I want you to take a moment and realize that the inner alchemist, God within, has taken of this and transmuted, refined, and perfected that which seemed imperfect, that which we brought forth and are now returning. Take a moment and feel into your body that it is refined, perfected, and transmuted, just as your soul returned us as God's body, perfect, beautifully free. Very slow and gentle, start drawing your attention, your awareness back to your physical being. Deepening through the breath. Beginning to wake up the extremities of the body by gently wiggling the fingers and toes. Wrapping the hands around the wrists, or the feet around the ankles. Taking those stretches, full body stretches or cat stretches, waking up the entirety of the being now. Drawing the knees into the chest, taking the hands to the front of the shin bones, rocking and rolling up and down on the spine a few times. And then drawing yourself upright into a comfortable seated position so that we can finish our practice today. Take those hands in prayer pose, tuck the thumbs into the breastbones so that we can finish with 3 Satnams. I am truth. Truth is my name. Truth is my identity. Every time you say Satnam, you are identifying with the God energy that exists within you. You are calling that space forth. You are owning into your truth. Inhale deeply. Exhale fully and completely. Inhale to begin. Satnam. Satnam. Namaste. Not only do I identify with that God energy that exists within my own heart, within my own physical and energetic embodiment, I identify that same energy within each and every one of you, that unique expression of humanity that only you can manifest, that beautiful divine energy radiating it from your being. And this is where it's so freaking important for us to remember that when we speak to ourselves, the way that we treat ourselves, the choices we make, the actions we take, all are centered around the truth of the fact that God is within you. If you are speaking to yourself in a way that is not aligned to that truth, you are pulling yourself further and further away from your own spirit, from God, from divinity, from the truth of your being, your own soul space. You are aligning yourself to mortal concepts, mortal truths about who and what you think you are, to be satisfied to crawl on this earth, as opposed to accepting the truth of your own divinity. So please, I really ask of you not just to experience these practices on your mat, but to take them off of your mat and treat yourself the way that you would treat yourself, accepting that truth that God is inside of you. You would never speak to yourself in a way again that would demean who and what you are, or devalue your time and place, your presence in this time and place. All your speaking, all your actions, all your choices should revolve around that truth. Get out of your own way and, in fact, allow that aspect of your being to radiate forward and to live from that space only. That's the goal. Thank you so much for joining me today, guys. I appreciate y'all so much. Again, if y'all want to check out those books, they're called The Life and Teaching of the Masters of the Far East by Baird T. Spalding. They were actually, this is based off of an expedition in 1894. This stuff has been around for a long time. It's full of tons of amazing wisdom. I really encourage you guys to check it out. But I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Thanks for joining me at my mom's house in front of her library, and I'll see y'all then.